Hi everybody, welcome back to the Tommy Maroon Sports Show. It's another Tuesday, so there is that. We got a lot of fun and excitement coming up right here, so stay tuned and don't change that channel, folks. First off, the Cleveland Guardians, or should I say, American League Central Division Champion Guardians. That's right. Despite a slow start, they have won the Central once again. It is the fourth time in 7 years they have won the division. Fifth time in 7 years. That's right, Terry Francona was right there celebrating a priceless reaction by Tito when the final out was caught by Luke Maley against Texas. We'll get to that in a second. Fifth time in 7 years that the Guardians are playing meaningful baseball in October. And whereas most teams are rebuilding with that talent, we saw that they took advantage of a bad division to win it. Oscar, Steven, Kirk, and other rookies fueled the team. I don't know about you, but I think Stephen Kwan deserves Rookie of the Year. They're the youngest team in the league, and they still made the playoffs. Terry Francona wins Manager of the Year, and if you think it's anyone else, you're wrong. They will most likely play in the wild card round, best of three. All three games will be at Progressive Field. At least the first two will, maybe the third one if there is a third one, against the number 6 seed, which is right now a toss-up between Toronto, Tampa, and Seattle. And the winner will play the number 2 seed in the American League Divisional Series. Well, how'd the series go? Well, let's just say the White Sox crumbled because they got swept.
Looks like it's sweeping time. Gotta sweep, sweep, sweep.
That's right, folks. The Guardians swept those lousy White Sox, and that, my friends, is very exciting. Game 1 lasted 11 innings. The Guards scored 5 runs in the 11th inning of Game 1. And Emmanuel Clase picked up the win. He's reliever of the year, by the way. Stephen Kwan, Josh Naylor hit home runs in Game 2. Tristan McKenzie 8 innings in Game 2. And Jose Ramirez 2 sac flies in Game 3. Shane Bieber went 7.2 innings in Game 3. So a lot of good jobs out there. And then this series right here, the Guardians played those Rangers. It was sweeping time. That's right.
Looks like it's sweeping time. Gotta sweep, sweep, sweep.
By the way, of course, that's from the legendary video game, cult-following video game, Baldi's Basics. Take Sonic Schoolhouse, if you've ever played that. Five Nights at Freddy's, merge them together, you got Baldi's Basics. That's literally what it's from, and you need to find 7 notebooks. It is almost impossible to beat that game. I have never beaten that game, and I have it on my phone. But anyways, I've lost my train of thought. Guardians have 5-run outbursts in the 6th inning Game 1. 4 players with RBIs in Game 1. Oscar hit 2 home runs in Game 2. Andres hit a home run in Game 2. And in this game right here, a man by the name of Stephen Kwan, right there on your screen, hits a grand slam. He hit a grand slam. That was truly an exclamation point to the American League Central Division clincher. Here's Kwan hustling home as well. By the way, he's got wheels. And I'm sorry, Seattle fans, J-Rod does not deserve Rookie of the Year. It deserves to be Mr. Stephen Kwan. That man is just so talented, including that grand slam, which was really unbelievable. And of course, Aaron Savali had about 6 innings in Game 3. Looking at the standings, it's officially over. The Guardians have won their last 7 games. 3 against the White Sox, 3 against the Rangers. It's been a blast. And then looking at the playoffs, well, they'll most likely play Tampa Bay or Seattle, or maybe Baltimore. Don't sleep on the Orioles. They are just 3.5 out of Seattle for that 3rd wild card, so you never know what can happen. I just hope that it's Cleveland, Seattle, Baltimore all in the playoffs, because that would be a blast. Do you know how awesome that'd be 3 teams no one gave a chance to at the beginning of the season. Well, people did give Seattle a chance, but I didn't. No one gave Cleveland a chance. No one gave Baltimore a chance. And they look like they are either A, going to the playoffs, or B, on their way to the division. That's right, the Grand Slam on 3-2. I didn't know if that one got out when I first saw it, but barely cleared the wall. That was unbelievable. Rookie of the Year, Stephen Kwan. Man, oh man, he is awesome. You know what's also awesome? You know what's chaotic, I ought to say? The NASCAR race. The Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 500. Say that 10 times fast. Woo-wee! That was insane and a crazy race that kept on repeating itself over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Tyler Reddick won it. Kyle Larson won stage 1. Ryan Blaney stage 2. Justin Haley finished in 3rd. Chase Briscoe finished in 5th. Eric Jones finished in 6th. Martin Truex Jr. spun out on lap 40. Kyle Busch hit the wall 9 laps later. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. spun out 7 laps after that. Cole Custer lost a tire on lap 78. 19 laps after that, Alex Bowman hit the wall. Then Cody Ware crashed into pit road 31 laps later, and Chris Buescher spun out on lap 197. And then shortly thereafter, there was a red flag because of weather concerns. There's Cody Ware on your screen. Kevin Harvick lost a tire tap on lap 253. Truex lost a tire 15 laps later. Stenhouse spun out on lap 300. As you can tell, it was a crazy race, that's for sure. We'll see if next week is any crazier. Next is Tommy's Picks, the recap, that is. Let's see how well I did. Well, Archbishop Hoban called me surprised. They went on the road to Walsh and took down Walsh 32-20. Avon just destroyed North Ridgeville 63-7. Massillon, Washington, proven to be one of the best teams out there with a 49-28 win over Austintown Fitch. And how about Wadsworth pulling off a major upset over the Nordonia Knights, keeping their National Conference hopes alive with a 41-14 convincing blowout over those Nordonia Knights. Hudson continuing their undefeated season, shut out Brecksville 45-0. And the Highland Hornets just went crazy against Kent Roosevelt. 69-0. I couldn't believe it. That was the most one-sided football game I have ever seen in my life. Oh my goodness. And Mentor took down Brunswick 35-14. Aurora snuck out a win against Talmadge 31-30 at Veterans Stadium. Ursuline becomes the first school to beat Cheney this season 30-27. Wake beat Jackson 21-7. North Royalton beat Stowe 28-11. Solon beat Twinsburg 48-29. One team in the National Conference. The other team, Solon, will be in the National Conference next season. Boardman beat Benedictine 20-12. Medina trounced Euclid 48-7. That's 17 straight losses for the Panthers, seemingly with no end in sight for Port Euclid. That dates all the way back to 2020, the last game of the season. Then they dropped all their 10 games last year, and now they have dropped their first 6 of the season. They do play Pennsylvania school that, according to Drew Pasture, they are heavy favorites against. So maybe they'll end their misery with a 17-game losing streak coming to an end. Valley Forge played Normandy and destroyed them 49-6. And Copley putting up, again, crazy numbers out there. 54-14 win over the Black Tigers. College football. West Virginia took down Virginia Tech 33-10. Clemson beat Wake Forest 51-45 in double overtime. I didn't think Clemson was going to win, but call me surprised, they did. Baylor beat Iowa State 31-24. Auburn took down Mizzou 17-14. Kansas is 4-0 for the first time since 2009. They beat Duke 35-27. How about those Jayhawks? Oh my goodness, they never win in college football, and now they're starting to win. And then in one of the best rivalries in the SEC, which is really saying something because there are a lot of great rivalries in the SEC, Tennessee beat Florida 38-33. They beat Florida for the first time in 6 years. Texas Tech won in overtime 37-34 over the Texas Longhorns, and as we all know, Texas is not back, folks. Notre Dame finally with a convincing win under Marcus Freeman. I was getting really irritated. I was on the Fire Freeman hype train for a little bit, and now I feel like I'm overreacting a little bit because now we got a win 45-32. Minnesota beat Michigan State 34-7. Oregon beat Washington State in a dramatic comeback 44-41. Texas A&M beat Arkansas 23-21. Alabama just crushed Vandy 55-21. Ohio State crushed Wisconsin 52-21. Florida State's 4-0 for the first time since 2015, I want to say. 44-14 convincing win over the Boston College Eagles. And then Washington, the Huskies beat the Stanford Cardinal 40-22. Now time for the NFL. The Browns beat the Steelers in the playoffs, of course, 2 years ago. What was I saying? Dear God. I meant to say they won on Thursday night, 29-17 to my surprise. Thank the Lord the Browns won because I was really getting tired of all the losing and the frustration from last week. But finally, a thorough and convincing win over the Steelers. And sorry, you're an Aintree, but the Steelers aren't gone to Super Bowl. He's a Yinzer, by the way, funny YouTuber. Panthers played the Saints, and the Panthers won 24-22, meaning that Baker Mayfield finally got a win with the Panthers. The Sea Bears are 2-1, and the Texans are 0-2-1. 23-20 win for Chicago. The Colts won a game over Kansas City. Kansas City was my lock of the week. Oh my goodness. That was my lock of the week. I thought for sure Kansas City was going to win that game, but no, when they did not. That's insane. Free Willy, it's another Free Willy winner. They rushed Tua out of there. The spike concussion protocol stuff. And Ken Dorsey has some anger issues to work on, the offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills, who slammed his tablet in frustration. 21-19. The Vikings came back to beat the Louisville Lions 28-24. Nothing new for Detroit. They always find incredible ways to lose. The Ravens beat the Patriots 37-26. Mac Jones got hurt. And the Bengals finally gained the win count with a 27-12 win over the Jets. The Titans hold off the Raiders 24-22, where Derrick Henry finally had a breakout game. The Eagles took it to the Commies 24-8. One of the craziest stats was that Jalen Hurts had a great game, and at one point the Commies had -1 passing yards. Yeah, -1 passing yards. How does that even happen? My goodness. And the Jaguars won again. First they beat the Colts. Now they beat the Chargers. What is going on? It's supposed to be Sucksonville, not Jacksonville. 38-10 over Justin Herbert, who, albeit is hurt, but still, you can't lose to the Jaguars. And Trevor Lawrence isn't looking like a bust now. Wow. The Rams took down the Cardinals 20-12. Falcons beat the Seahawks 27-23. The Packers beat the Buccaneers. Tom Brady's playing really bad so far this season, 14-12. Broncos won 11-10 on Sunday night because Jimmy Garoppolo literally pulled a Dan Orlovsky out there by stepping out of the end zone completely unaware that he was out of the end zone for a safety. And it turned out to be the difference maker. 11-10. I checked Scorigami yesterday, or today, I forget. And unfortunately, that was not the first time it's been an 11-10 game. There was one previous game. Of course there was. We were this close to Scorigami. Oh, wow. Oh, well, the Cowboys won. Cooper Rush looks like he might be the permanent starting quarterback now because he beat the Bengals and he beat the Giants. I know that's not saying much being the Giants, but he still beat the Giants, who were undefeated at that point, 23-16. CeeDee Lamb made a ridiculous catch, may I say, on Monday night. All right, some last week recap. High school football, I went 10-6 with 11 points, which means I'm 52-32 with 68 points. College football went 8-7 with 9 points. I'm 36-19 with 41 points. And the NFL, I went 7-9, 7 points. I'm now 22-25-1 this season with 23 points. That's pretty not good. Tommy's picks. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. First things first, high school football. Olmsted Falls, the Bulldogs play the Avon Eagles. I got an upset right here. I really want Olmsted Falls to win this game because according to Drew Pastor and according to Joe Idle and all those guys that run all those stats and stuff, it looks like if Avon wins this game, it wins out. And if we win out, which looks very likely, I mean, won't be easy against Aurora, and Copley has a great offense, but I think we have a better defense. But if that happens, Avon will take the number 1 seed in Region 6, and Highland's going to take the number 2 seed in Region 6, which is not going to be good, and considering the fact that Central Catholic is probably going to run the table, considering the fact that they almost beat St. Ed's earlier this year, I've got a bad feeling that it's going to be 1 Avon, 2 Highland, 3 Central Catholic from Toledo, which is very scary, those 2 schools. I think they're the only 2 schools that are better than us in the region. But anyways, I don't know if it's because I want Olmsted Falls to win, but I'm picking Olmsted Falls to win. St. Ignatius against St. Ed's, that's a toss-up, folks. I'm picking St. Ignatius. Nordonia against Hudson. Hudson should continue their winning ways with a win over the Knights. Medina against Mentor. It's been win, loss, win for Mentor. Now it's going to be win, loss for Mentor. Picking the Bees. They have been on a tear. Danny Stoddard, the junior. Danny Stoddard and Andrew Lurch. So let me tell you about those 2 quarterbacks. They had tall tasks filling in for Drew Auer in Danny's case and Aaron Phillips in Andrew's case. But man, oh man, they have both stepped it up and then some. Maybe they exceeded it. Glenville against JFK, lock of the week. Glenville should win. There's no way Glenville loses. Lake plays McKinley. I'm picking Lake. In a battle of the Fighting Irishes, it's a Spider-Man pointing at Spider-Man meme. Ursuline against St. Vincent St. Mary. My pick goes with the Fighting Irishes, St. Vincent St. Mary. Solon plays Brunswick. I'm picking Solon. Highland plays Revere on homecoming night. Oh boy, Revere does not know what they are in for Friday night. They don't know that they're in for a shellacking. I am picking the Hornets. They would be my lock of the week, but I don't want to get too cocky or overconfident with those Hornets. Lorraine against Garfield Heights, picking Garfield Heights. Barberton against Copley. I expect Copley to light it up on the scoreboard again, and I think they should score enough to beat Barberton. Wadsworth plays Stowe, riding a 5-game losing streak, make it a 6-game losing streak when Wadsworth wins. North Ridgeville trying to bounce back from a very frustrating loss to Avon when they played the Pioneers of Elyria. I'm picking North Ridgeville. Strongsville against Austintown Fitch. Austintown is number 24 in my rankings. I'm picking Austintown Fitch. Benedictine against Brecksville. Benedictine has lost their last 7 games, I want to say, dating back to last season. And for them, I think it ends against Brecksville Friday night, and they finally get a win. Look out for Region 9. That is stacked up and loaded. North Royalton plays Twinsburg in a National Conference showdown. I'm picking the Bears. College football, UCLA playing Washington. My pick goes with the Huskies. Iowa against Michigan. Here's my upset of the week, folks. It's going to be Iowa. That's right, Iowa at Kinnick Stadium, pink locker room. Michigan played poorly against Maryland last week. I mean, I just think those Hawkeyes have what it takes to down Michigan. And Kinnick Stadium's going to be electric that night. Ole Miss plays Kentucky. I'm picking the Wildcats. Minnesota against Purdue, picking Minnesota. Air Force against the Navy, picking Air Force. Arkansas against Alabama. I mean, Arkansas is ranked, but then again, Alabama is a little better. And by little, I mean a lot. I'm picking the Tide. Ohio State against Rutgers. I'm picking the Buckeyes as my lock of the week. Of course they're going to be my lock of the week because, of course. Baylor against Oklahoma State, picking the Baylor Bears. Penn State against Northwestern, picking Penn State. Florida State to play Wake Forest. Whomever loses that most likely drops out of the top 25. And I think Wake Forest is going to drop out of the top 25. Akron against Bowling Green. I'm picking those Bowling Green Falcons. Mississippi State playing Texas A&M. Here's another upset. Mississippi State. Auburn against LSU. Someone has to win that game, unfortunately. And I think the Tigers of LSU will win that. Missouri against Georgia. I mean, Georgia did not look good against Kent State last week. But then again, the Georgia Bulldogs are number one for a reason. I think that they should get the job done against Mizzou. Clemson against NC State. I'm picking the Clemson Tigers. Oregon against Stanford, picking the Ducks. Time for the NFL, and then we say goodbye. Bengals play Free Willy. I think it's going to be a Free Willy winner out there for Miami. They'll go to 4-0. Saints play the Vikings. I'm picking the Vikings. Falcons hosting the Browns. I got Cleveland, baby. They should win it. The Browns are pretty darn good, I must say. Ravens against the Bills. That's a toss-up, but I think Buffalo will come out on top. Which means the Browns will be 3-1 and perhaps, leading the division. I'm just saying they're going to be leading the division come Monday, come Sunday night. So the Cowboys play the Commies. You know what? I'm really sold on those Cowboys with Cooper Rush. I'm picking the Cowboys. The Lowell Lions play the Seahawks. I'm picking the Lowell Lions because as bad as both those teams are, someone has to win that game. Texans against the Chargers. Once again, someone has to win that game, and I think the Chargers will. Colts play the Titans. I'm picking the Titans. Giants against the Sea Bears, picking the Giants. Whomever wins that game goes to 3-1. Let that sink in for a little bit. The Giants or Sea Bears go to 3-1. Eagles against Jacksonville. Will the Eagles be Jacksonville's next victim of an upset? I don't think so. Jalen Hurts has been really good all season long. I'm picking the Eagles. Steelers play the Jets. Someone has to win that game, and the someone is the Steelers. Panthers against the Cardinals, picking Arizona. Packers against the Patriots, picking the Packers. Raiders against the Broncos. You'd think that Las Vegas would win it, but nope. I'm going with an upset out here. Denver to win. I don't think it's that big of an upset, but to me, it is an upset. Buccaneers play the Chiefs on Sunday night. Does not sound as fun as it used to sound a year ago when Tom Brady was top his A game and now on his F game, as in getting an F on your test. The Chiefs should win. And then the 49ers against the Rams. I'm picking the Rams to win it. Well, folks, the Tommy Maroon Sports Show, episode number 168 is over now. Please be sure to subscribe, by the way, to Tommy Maroon Sports Live because Saturday is a very special presentation, doubleheader featuring not just Highland stuff, but now BW stuff. A volleyball game against Marietta at 1 and a soccer game against Marietta at 7 at the George Finney Stadium, Trestle Field. You should go there. Or if you can't go there, just watch on YouTube. Till then, I'm Tommy Maroon. See you next week.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.